Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Sea of Tranquility's Rant series. My name is Pete Pardo. I am the CEO and publisher of SOT. Today is Friday, June the 9th, and we've got here a little topic area which has been offered to us by our friend Power Metal Mark, one of our avid viewers here on the YouTube show. And what he'd like me to talk about today, which is actually a good topic for myself. It's something that's been bugging me for a while. And that is the kind of insane and rising costs of concert tickets these days. So for most of you who have been attending live shows, whether it be, you know, heavy metal bands, progressive bands, jazz shows, pop, whatever, really doesn't matter. If you are interested in going to see, especially like the name acts, the legacy bands or the really popular bands, and you want to go see them in a large venue, you're going to pay a good amount of money these days. And for those of us who have been regularly going to live events since, like, say, the 70s or the 80s or even the 90s, if you were to kind of go back in time and look at what you paid for concert tickets back then and compare them to what they charge today, a bit of a difference. I mean, I know, granted, with inflation and the dollar's worth, it's different than it was back then. But today we've got basically, for the most part, we've got like one entity that's responsible for selling tickets to most events, and whether that be music or sporting events or what have you, and that's this company called Ticketmaster, which is basically the mega powers to be for anybody who wants to buy a ticket to something nowadays. And with that comes high prices and all these fees, and then you've got all this pre-sale nonsense and all this stuff, which I'm going to kind of get into a little bit, because it makes it really difficult at times to to get a ticket to something you really want to go to. So, but if you're someone like me, if you've been doing this thing for a while and you've been a music fan for a bunch of decades, back in the old days, you went to a concert, you got a really cool ticket stub. Most of us, or some of us, or whatever, who really cared about this type of thing, would save the concert ticket stub, right? So if you're someone like, I've got a photo album that I've got ticket stubs saved from going back to the early 80s. So, they don't look like this today, right? Most folks today, they either, download the ticket to their phones, and when they go to get to the venue, they show their phone and they scan a barcode, and that's it, right? Or you print out this whole page, from Ticketmaster on your printer, and you bring this piece of paper, and it's not quite the same, But we're mainly talking about ticket prices here today. So I'm looking here. So I've got a bunch of them from back in the day. I mean, what do we have here? So Rush at the old Brendan Byrne Arena. Any of you East Coasters remember that place? Basically, it's this small, right next to Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. They created this smaller venue which housed about, I think, 18,000 people, something like that, right next to Giant Stadium. So you saw like basketball games there and hockey games there, but more importantly, a lot of concerts there in the day. And the metal bands, a lot of metal bands played there. So this one in particular that I'm looking at here is 1981, okay? Dating myself a little bit here. This is Rush at the Brendan Byrne Arena. And what did I pay for this thing? The price is cut off. Damn it. Okay. Oh, no, $12.50. $12.50. So, if we kind of go back in time here, so in 1981, so I was 15 years old, and, $12.50 back then, it was a lot of money for a 15-year-old kid. Well, not a lot of money, but, a little chunk of change. Big difference to today. Today, you go see Rush. If I think a couple years ago, I saw Rush at Madison Square Garden on their last tour. What was that, 2 years ago? And I think I paid in excess of $80, if not over $100, something around there. So just kind of put that in perspective. What else do we have here? Also at the same venue, the Meadowlands Arena, Brendan Byrne Arena, 1 year later in 1982, Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio, the Mob Rules tour. Again, $12.50. So here you have a year in between, still the same price. What else we got here? Triumph and Saxon at the Palladium in New York City. $10. 1982. $10. Can't beat that. The Who at Shea Stadium. Okay, this was a big show. This was at the time to be the Who's kind of like farewell tour, which wound up never happening. They had the Clash and David Johansen, from the New York Dolls, and it was a big deal. There was probably like, I don't know, 50,000 people or whatever it was. Big deal. That was $16. Okay, expensive for back then. Today you want to go see the Who, and I had good seats. I think I don't think I was on the floor, but I was on like the first level, mezzanine or whatever. You want to go see the Who nowadays, and with a good seat, you're going to spend well in excess of $100. Well in excess. And then you got some local shows at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, Poughkeepsie, New York. Blue Oyster Cult, Uriah Heep, Iron Maiden, and Fastway. $12.50, $10.50 for the Blue Oyster Cult show. Again, the Meadowlands, Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue, and Wasted. This was 1984. $13.50. All right. So again, these are early '80s shows, But let's jump ahead a little bit, right? I got Yes at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, Poughkeepsie, 1997. That was $30. Okay. Santana at Jones Beach, $33. Ronnie James Dio at the Chance, 1997, $15. Joe Satriani, Eric Johnson, Steve Vai, the G3 Tour, the Beacon Theater, 1996, $35. Oh, with a $4.50 processing fee. Okay, so right then, so these are Ticketmaster. This is like the early days of Ticketmaster. But let's jump ahead even further. Okay, so what do we got here? So we got Dream Theater at Radio City Music Hall, 2006, which was obviously part of a DVD because they filmed it. So that was $44.50 with a $9.60 Ticketmaster charge. Okay, that was 2006. What do we got here? Morbid Angel at BB King Blues Club, 2006, New York City, $31. That was actually pretty expensive for a BB King show. Oh, what else we got here? All sorts of stuff. Def Leppard and Journey, PNC Bank Arts Center, 2006, $62, $62.50 plus $11.65 Ticketmaster charge. So as you can see over the years, all of a sudden, Ticketmaster's starting to get pretty greedy with some of this stuff. Let's go even further here. What do we got? Todd Rundgren at the Blender Theater, $45, 2008. What else? Earth, Wind, and Fire in Chicago, Bethel Woods Center for the Arts, $60 ticket plus $10.50 Ticketmaster charge. Heaven and Hell, which Monty James Dio and Black Sabbath, at the Madison Square Garden WAMU Theater, which is basically the theater at the Garden. This was 2009, $54.50 plus $10 charge. Okay, so let's go even further here. I know I've got some expensive stuff in here. Even the last couple of years, most of what I'm seeing is like, $55, $60, $70. An Evening with Yes, Radio City Music Hall, 2014, not long before Chris Squire passed away. $40 plus $13 Ticketmaster charge. Deep Purple, Bergen Performing Arts Center, $55, 2014. Oh, what else? All right, here we go. Back to the Rush, okay? Rush on the R4 live tour at Madison Square Garden. $71 for the ticket. We were up a bit, okay? Plus $17 Ticketmaster charge. So it's roughly, almost a $90 ticket right there. And that's, you see that all over the place. Here, AC/DC, okay? At MetLife Stadium, which is formerly Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. These were floor seats. $110 for a ticket for your seat, plus a $22 charge, Ticketmaster charge. That's their fees, all these nonsense fees, okay? And that's not counting what it costs to park at that arena, which was like $30 or $40. So just to be there, okay, you're already spending close to $200 to have a floor seat. And, Interesting enough, though, I saw Iron Maiden at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey the other day. And again, these tickets, our seats were pretty high up, but you know what? They were only $39 plus the fee, so roughly 40 something bucks. That's pretty cheap nowadays. And I will tell you, trying to get a Iron Maiden ticket nowadays is a real pain in the ass because when they toured the last time, it was just impossible to get a seat for any kind of seat at all at a decent price. Unless you want to do the pre-sale. I mean, this is how they rope you in these days. They convince you, oh, Citibank pre-sale, American Express pre-sale, whatever. Get exclusive tickets a day or two before anybody else can get them. So you go online and you search in, and there's not a hell of a lot available. But what is available, of course, are these expensive, floor and lower mezzanine tickets for like $150, $200 plus whatever. And most people are like, oh, but it's a great seat, gotta do it because I may not get one when the general public seats go on sale. And most of the time that is the case, because then when you go to try and get them when the general public seats go on sale, you get and again, I don't know how it works behind the scenes. I can only tell you my impression of it. What it looks like to me is like you go online at exactly like 10 a.m. in the morning and there's like nothing available. And then literally like later that day or the next day, you go on StubHub and you got folks on there selling 20 tickets for like, $300 each. So it's like either somehow these people are able to get on there and purchase like a massive amount of tickets that they then go and resell for higher prices, or I don't know how it works. Or you got these bots that go on there and then somehow do it. I don't know how it works, but it makes it really hard for someone like you and me to go and get a decent ticket to a large venue event. It really is. I don't remember. I think I talked about this on a previous show. It's like there was nothing more exasperating than a couple of years back when the Allman Brothers Band, a longtime favorite of mine, announced they were going to retire, and they were going to play like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't even remember what it was. It was a ridiculous length of shows at the Beacon Theater, which forever they've always played a long run every tour there, right? So, and I've seen them numerous times at the Beacon, okay, over the years, but this was to be the last go for them, right? That's it. End of the Allman Brothers. They're done. It's, Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks were going to leave, and they decided that was it. Okay. And tickets went on sale. I mean, for a ridiculous amount of shows. I couldn't get a ticket to save my life for any of them. Literally, they would go on sale, and within minutes, sold out, nothing available. No matter whether it was a shitty seat or a great seat. Didn't fucking matter. And it's like, I was willing to spend the money. I wasn't willing, however, to go pay $300-$400 or more on StubHub the next day or even a week before the event. It's like everybody's got their lives planned. It's I'm not always able to 2 days before a show that I wanted to go on say, you know what, I'm going to wait till the day before and then try and get a ticket because I got, I plan other stuff. There's other things going on in life. It's not the end of the world to go to see this stuff, but I would like to be able to, the day they go on sale, for it to be fair to everybody to get a goddamn ticket. But, I know there's a lot of Allman Brothers fans in New York City. But you mean to tell me like they play 20 shows or whatever it was? It was a long run that, where they fit 5,000 people in that place. You mean to tell me like just like that, every single show is gone, and the same people. Based on what I saw on sale on StubHub shortly after every show went on sale, it's like it's obvious that people are just grabbing up as much as they can and they're trying to make a buck on them. At least that's the way it comes across. If that's not the case, that's okay, because I've never purchased stuff to then sell on StubHub, so I don't know what actually happens. I just know for me as a ticket buyer, in many instances, it's been almost impossible to get good tickets at fair prices. That's all I'm asking for. I just want a fair chance to get a seat, just like anybody else. Okay, so, but for classic rock fans, there's this big show that's coming up at Citi Field where the Mets play this summer. It's like Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and Chicago and a couple other bands, right? It's like this whole weekend thing. Tickets are ridiculous. It's like hundreds of dollars. And it's like, I've seen all those bands on their own and spent good money doing it. I remember going to see the Eagles at Bethel Woods, and it was a good amount of money for a lawn seat. It was like $70-$80, or if not more than that. And, I've seen Fleetwood Mac at Madison Square Garden. That was $100 a ticket, So it's like you can spend a fortune, you can spend a fortune on some of this stuff. God, do I have anything else recently? Um, I got all sorts of stuff here. Journey and Santana at Madison Square Garden. Granted, these were great seats. They were floor seats. I think I was in like 15th row or something like that. And my buddy actually bought a couple tickets, and he sold me his. But I was not planning to spend this much money on a Santana and Journey ticket at the Garden. But I just couldn't pass it up because it was the reunion of the classic Santana lineup. That was $149.50, not including fees. So I think with the fees, this was like $175. It's like you got to be kidding me. What else here? Steely Dan at Bethel, that was pretty reasonable. That was $35.50. Journey and Doobie Brothers at Bethel, $47. But what I can appreciate is, and again, I guess as I get older, it's like, I prefer seeing bands in like a smaller setting. And, it's great to have local like venues and clubs and things like that where they get name acts coming in, even though maybe the place may only hold 1,000 people or less, but, they're charging like 20, 30, maybe $40 tops, like the Chance here in Poughkeepsie, New York. Say what you want about the Chance. It's a nostalgic little place that most of us who live here have been going to for our whole lives or most of our lives. And you can still go see a name band for relatively little money. I mean, you gotta love it. You can go travel like, a half hour away to go see Michael Schenker for like $25. Or you can go see Last in Line for $20, or whoever it might be. Fate's Warning coming up this weekend. What is it, $20-$30? I mean, you just can't beat that. So Mayhem and and Inquisition recently, black metal stuff. Those tickets are cheap, $20-$25. You just can't beat that. Here's another one I went to recently. This was back in February in the Paramount Theater in Peekskill, New York. Blue Oyster Cult. It's $35. Who can't afford that, right? But it's one thing when you're and easy to get tickets to a lot of these little local places. But you want to go see a big band in a big venue or stadium or something like that. You better be prepared to spend some cash and go through some frustration trying to get a fucking ticket. So it's not always easy, and I for the most part have seen almost every band I'd ever want to see. Okay, if they're still around. And, there's some that, I want to see Paul McCartney recently. I'm not willing to spend $200-$300 on a ticket. Never seen him, but I would like to catch the Rolling Stones one more time before they retire or croak. Okay, but, they came around. They played like one gig in this whole New York metropolitan area. You couldn't get a ticket. You could if you wanted to spend $500, right? I'm sorry. I can pop on a Stones Blu-ray from the last couple tours and just, I'm not going to spend $500 on a ticket. Sorry. So, but that's just me. Some people they'll spend whatever. And, also for me, it's like there's always do I spend big bucks to get down front, up close and personal? And you got to be lucky to get those, right? Or do I spend half that or even less than half that and sit all the way up top? And I mean, the other night at Iron Maiden, we were all the way up top, but you know what? Could see the band perfectly fine, for $40-something. Can't beat it. So, but anyway, that's my little rant for today. Ticket prices are escalating. They're out of control. Ticketmaster's, got a strong hold on the whole thing, and they've got their fees, and there's all the hassles with trying to get tickets online and whatnot. It's never easy, but is it ever going to change? No, it's not. So anyway, we can all sit and pine about the old days, but as the saying goes, it is what it is. So till next time, be safe. We'll be on board with another installment of the Rant series. We've also got our What's Hot show coming up soon with some new releases. So thanks again to Power Metal Mark for this idea today. He's got another couple of them that I'm going to use in the future. So till next time, be safe, take care, have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.